Welcome to your doom.
This is Atul.
This is Justin.
We are your harbingers of doom, and this is the Welcome to Your Doom show.
Is this your first time talking to the goddamn microphone? That's better.
I'm moving closer.
That's
closer.
better.
I wanted to.
Just gotta look at it.
All right, I gotta look at it. That means I gotta look at you.
Yeah, it's a sight to behold. It really is.
It is. It is.
I'm wearing my Captain Canada shirt.
Oh, that's true. You know there is a Captain Canuck character, right?
I thought I saw that at some point, but it's not like Marvel or DC.
Yeah, it is. It's a Marvel character because
Captain
the reason
Canuck.
the reason I know the reason this has come up recently. I know that I don't know if he's called Captain Canuck, but he's like a Canadian Avenger. He's part of Alpha Flight.
No, that was Vindicator. Well, then again,
He's wearing a
no.
Canadian
Hold on, I think
jumpsuit.
I might be eating my words.
Oh yeah, that's him.
Yeah, but that's Calmly Comics. That's not the same guy. It's not Marvel, man.
It's a Marvel Captain Okay, look.
Captain Canuck. Get the fuck out
Alpha
of here.
Flight. Hold on, I'm gonna search the other way because I don't know if his name is Captain Canuck, but see here, Alpha Flight. It's Canadian superheroes appearing.
Yes,
in Marvel
that's
Comics.
absolutely true. But
Yeah.
Vindicator was the.
Oh, is that
He's the guy. The two fucking characters look exactly the same, pretty much.
look-
Except
yeah,
this
look, this
asshole's
is-
got
this-
a Canadian thing.
look at him.
Yeah, I know. It looks the same. That's not. This is a different comic book
or maybe it's
publisher. Vindicator is Vindicator, and this guy is
top
just,
row. So Sasquatch, North Star, Snowbird, Shaman, Guardian,
Yeah.
and Aurora. So who's that guy?
Who?
So who's that? There's no the name Vindicator is not in this list.
He's gone through a few different. Oh, Guardian might be the name
Might
in
be
this
the
case.
name,
He's gone through a bunch of different names. That character. Click on Guardian, and you'll see what I mean.
Guardian. There it is.
I could also be making up the name
Oh, it is
Vindicator.
Guardian. Yeah.
But look for Vindicator. Maybe I'm talking shit. And yeah, there we go. Quickly at Vindicator. Okay, so I knew him as Vindicator. But yeah, he's also known as Guardian,
Okay.
which is extremely general.
Yeah.
I like Vindicator.
It's a good segue because what I wanted to talk about was I finished reading the first two volumes of The Immortal Hulk. And Alpha Flight is in it. And I don't know too much about Alpha Flight. And I saw a guy dressed in Canadian garb.
Yeah.
And I was like, who
Was
is
it a
this guy?
Mountie?
I just assumed no, it was him. It was
Captain Canuck. He
I thought
crushed
it was
publishers.
I thought it was Captain Canuck.
Captain
But
Canuck.
clearly, I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about. But yeah, it was Guardian. But Sasquatch is in it and is featured heavily in the book.
Okay.
But I really enjoyed it, man. The first two volumes of this series. I started reading the third one, and it kind of took a few logic leaps or plot leaps where I was like, okay, now I think the first two volumes go together quite nicely, and the third one takes a bit of a time leap and tells a different story. But man, like the art, you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of the New 52 Animal Man.
I
don't know
never
if you
read
read
that.
that.
No,
It is-
and I've wanted to. I really got to pick up the trades for that at some point.
The Animal Man and Swamp Thing on the New 52 relaunch were actually quite good, and they sort of shared the similar mythology, but there was a very the Immortal Hulk is definitely going back to some of these weird, crazy horror roots of the character, just in terms of what he is. He's basically, like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, the Wolfman sort of syndrome thing going on.
Right.
But some of the scenarios, because he can't die. That's his thing.
Pretty much.
Yeah, so some of the scenarios they put the Hulk in are so insane. I don't even want to ruin it. Like, you should read the book and you'll know what I'm talking about. There's a scene where he gets captured and gets studied, and they do some crazy shit to this guy.
Nice.
And he survives everything, obviously, but they introduce this entire mythology about like hell is involved, like gamma radiation being like more than just science. Like, it's totally bonkers, but really just has a couple of key like emotional character moments for Bruce Banner where I was like, yeah, that's very cool. Like, it's really well written. The art is fantastic. Yeah, so the first two volumes I think I can wholly recommend.
Okay.
The third one, like I said, I started it, but I think it was too much of a leap from the previous story.
Yeah.
And required a little more knowledge of the Hulk's past.
Okay.
That's the one thing I think they did really well in the first two volumes. I don't really know a lot about the Hulk. I haven't read a lot about them. Apparently, he already has multiple personalities. He's got like the Devil Hulk and like all of these other Hulk personalities. Like, but that's not required. I still enjoyed the story, knowing next to nothing about the character of the history of the Hulk, other than some of the basics.
Right.
So yeah, cool book.
Nice.
Enjoyed it.
That's cool. I got a couple of. I literally just went to the library 2 days ago because I was in the neighborhood. Picked up something on Mace Windu from the Star Wars series. I got like 3 or 4 different books, a couple of random ones that look kind of like horror genre.
Yeah, sure.
So I just picked up a bunch of stuff. So maybe I'll have something to report on. I'm like halfway through the Mace Windu one that I have, and it's like, it's okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Is it like one of the new Marvel branded, like the in canon stories?
I don't think it's new.
Okay.
It might even be Dark Horse because I think they had Star Wars at a time.
Sure.
But I mean, there's nothing really to write home about aside from the fact that Kit Fisto is in it as well, and I just like saying Kit Fisto.
I was just talking about Kit at work the other day, and man, I miss that guy. I was telling some people at work, you guys know who Kit Fisto is? They're like, no. I'm like, in episode 2, when they had that crazy battle in that arena, he's the one that force pushes a bunch of like bug people, the Genosians, I think, and the camera flashes back to him and he smiles. He's got this huge
big
smile.
smile.
Yeah, he just like pushes them and it goes back to him and he's like, and I'm like, there's a guy that's having fun. There is a Jedi that is having a good time.
He's definitely enjoying himself. Plus, if you go to like the Clone Wars series, the original one by the guy that did Samurai Jack, I never remember his name.
Tartakovsky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has a really great episode in there.
Underwater.
Underwater.
Right? Yeah.
It's super dope. And then he was also pretty good, if I recall, or I could be mixing the two up now, but the Clone Wars series that followed after the one that's 4 or 5 seasons. I think so. I think that he had some good moments in there, but I could also be. It's been a while since I've watched it.
Yeah, I've not seen that.
I remember developing more of an appreciation for the character over time because of all of these other third-party things. I thought there was something else that happened. I can't remember. Well, in episode 2, I thought that he smiled at a scene that was more than just force pushing. I think he fucked with C-3PO too, maybe. I think his head came off in the force, like he was collateral damage of the force push. But I don't think he was reacting to that. I think that's why it was bookended.
Yeah.
Or, they put like another note on that scene is because C-3PO, I think his head was on a clone trooper, or not a clone trooper. That would be very graphic. Yeah. It was on one of the little skinny things.
Yeah. I don't remember that. I just remember him being the only one that had any personality.
Yes,
so I kind of latched onto that.
Yeah. Even
just that
Mace
one
Windu
moment.
didn't have any. He's chopping people's heads off.
Zero.
He's just like, nah, that happened.
In fact, they should have just made Mace Windu. Mace Windu.
his intentions are transparent at all times.
Okay. But they should have just transferred all of his character over to Kit Fisto because he's way more interesting. And
but with Sam Jackson's voice.
That's right, exactly. I'll never forget because I always used to tell my brother, I'm like, man, Kit Fisto is the best. He's the best. Then we went to see episode 3, and Kit Fisto is one of the unfortunate Jedi that go to arrest Palpatine.
Yeah,
and in the first 3 moves, in like the first 3 strikes, he gets killed. Yeah. And my brother leans over to him. He's like, "Oh, Kit Fisto just got fisted." I'm like, no.
God damn it.
So yeah, that was really sad for me when that happened. He kind of he dies very, very quickly there.
And unceremoniously, just background.
Yeah.
It was basically like he was put out just as badly as like Palpatine's furniture when he jumped over and it fell over. That's pretty much what happened to the Jedi.
Yeah, I feel like
he was treated like a chair.
I haven't seen that scene in a long time, but I feel like Mace Windu was just using everyone as like a meat shield. He's just like, get in there,
Force pushes them all together like, and they're like, what? Mace? God damn it.
I said we fight together.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you have anything? I have a few other things here, but do you have anything you wanted to talk about?
I did want to talk about it because the last time we spoke, I said I would celebrate if the Raptors won the fucking championship. Mm-hmm. We did. However, yesterday we just lost the reason we won.
That's right.
And I'll be honest, good fucking riddance. And not because I don't like Kawhi Leonard, not because I don't want him to sign back with the team. It would have been lovely to see him back. Good riddance because of the goddamn mania that's going on in the city right now. It was insane.
It's embarrassing.
It's
actually.
That's
It's
and to be honest, like I was rooting for Kawhi to leave Toronto, as awful as that sounds, because of the mania. Because then hopefully people kind of like look at it and like,
that was dumb.
Yeah, it would only be better if Kawhi Leonard's like, I would have stayed, but everybody kind of scared me.
That's what I was saying. I'm like, who wouldn't leave if you didn't have like drones and helicopters following
you
around
everywhere?
like
I'd be like, fuck this,
like
I'm
the
out.
O.J. Simpson chase.
Yeah, that's what it seemed like.
It's just silly.
All California had was like a billboard that had his name on a license plate. It's been reported. Anyways,
Sure,
kind of sucks, but at the same time, like, hey, the way I look at it is, from the very, very beginning of the season, he was this guy that came over. He took arguably one of the greatest Raptors that we've ever had. He took his spot after he got booted off the team and traded to the Spurs.
Yeah.
And we didn't know anything about him other than he wanted to play in California. That was it. So and he just came off of a pretty shitty injury that kept him out of the playoffs the season before.
Yeah.
So when this guy comes in, it's like, all we know is his contract's up at the end of the year, and he's probably going to go to California.
Yeah.
So why are we getting all excited about this guy? We don't even know if he's going to come and play. Like, it seemed pretty shitty that he wasn't playing for the team he was playing for during the playoffs. He was like bitching and moaning about this injury, which didn't seem that serious. Well, turns out it probably was pretty serious to the point where he didn't want to risk anything. Throughout this season, he played his heart out when he did, and then he only played, I think, 3/4 of the season because they sat him every other game or so. And then in the playoffs, he goes full ham. He's the best player, without question, in my opinion, in the playoffs of the NBA the whole season, or the whole playoffs.
Yeah.
And he plays his heart out. He single-handedly really is the guy that brings us the championship. All of our other role players decide to start playing about just over halfway through the playoffs. And he brings this championship in. He's a great personality, despite having none.
Yeah, well, maybe because of it.
And he gave us everything that he could.
Yeah.
And then he's leaving for California. So literally, the best case situation would have been he re-signs with us for a few more years, won a championship, and plays his heart out for us throughout the season. We got 2 out of 3 of those.
Yeah.
He just left for California. So as far as I'm concerned, and I think I'll say this about the Raptors populace, is now that he's left, you don't see like the craziness that happened in like Cleveland when LeBron leaves.
Yeah.
They're burning fucking jerseys and like,
Were they?
oh, it was crazy. But then again, LeBron also made a big spectacle of his thing. Kawhi's was a big spectacle only because the media was making it a big spectacle.
For sure, yeah.
So I haven't seen anything like about the Toronto fans like hating on Kawhi. I think we all understand, which is great. Like I'm pretty happy about that. So overall, Kawhi Leonard, probably the greatest Raptor of all time.
Yep.
His legend will live on in this championship, I think. And I'm just glad we're over with the nonsense. I literally muted our shit show chat with all the cousins and stuff because I was like, I can't deal with it. It's constant fucking like, hey, the plane's taking off. Who gives a fuck? Oh, I think this is... And then I had another friend that was sending me like tweet things. He's like, this is official. Like, they're going to announce a press conference. I'm like, no, they're not. There's nothing anywhere that says it's a press conference. What the fuck are you talking about? Like, people just getting duped. So,
would you say he's the GOAT?
I don't even know what you just said.
He's the greatest Raptor of all time. He's the GOAT. Right?
That was
he's the
all right.
GOAT.
He's the GOAT.
Yeah.
He's the
all
GOAT.
Right, we'll call him the GOAT from now on.
I am GOAT. He is GOAT.
He is GOAT.
But yeah, and also I'm kind of an asshole, so I know that everybody really wanted him to stay. And I love basketball. I'm a big Raptors fan, but I'm also very reasonable when it comes to this stuff. And if the Raptors don't get a guy back and we don't win another championship for a while, I'm okay with that because I just watched some of the best playoff basketball I've seen in a while. And I'm just a dick because I like seeing everybody else get disappointed. I don't know why. I'm just an asshole. Like, I know as soon as that... Like, I think it was one of your cousins. Yeah. And he sends out a message that just says, he gone. And I'm just like... Like, I'm feeding off of their misery. I am an awful person.
You're like that black hole from The Fifth Element.
Yeah. I'm that guy.
You're just getting bigger and bigger as people are getting more and more disappointed.
Yeah. They're like, oh, Kawhi's not there. I'm like, good. I'm sorry. I'm a miserable person. I just don't like getting wrapped up in stuff that I have no real stake in, I guess. I have a stake in it, just not to the degree that other people
Sure,
do.
yeah. Sure,
So.
yeah. No, there was a lot going on, and there were a lot of it was like a hysteria. But I get, as a fan, like I'm not a fan of the rap. We talked about this before, but I'm just kind of like it got to the point where I'm like, this is like the rest of the world watching this happen.
Yeah.
If I were the rest of the world, I'd be like, that they're fucking crazy. Like,
Yep.
That's just the way I look at it. There, when I look from the outside in, I'm like, it got to the point where I was like, this is getting nuts. Like, I had to, when someone, I don't know who sent it, but someone was saying like a plane was following a car or something. I don't know how real that is. That could be just nonsense and people making a joke.
The news,
but I'm like,
I think, were following him.
the way,
Helicopters.
but the way things were going in the city, it's completely believable that he was being tailed. Like, all
People
the
were
time.
lining up or not lining up, but like congregating outside of the hotel he was reportedly having meetings at.
Yeah,
like it's
that's
crazy.
Yeah.
And like people in LA, like I've got another group chat with some of the people I worked with at DreamWorks,
Yeah.
basketball fans.
Yeah.
And one, they're all laughing at the nonsense that's going on in Toronto.
Sure, yeah.
But then two, the other thing that I want to comment on, I guess, is just kind of came through, is like everybody's like, he's definitely like, it's the way that things get reported. Shut up. Like the reporters literally were all wrong about this until the announcement was made. And that, to me, like all this crazy speculation that people are wasting their times reading articles and all this bullshit about is like, just let it happen and go on with your days, especially about sports stuff. Like it's in the arms of like somebody that is actually making the decision. Let them make the decision and hear it from them instead of hearing somebody like Jalen Rose, 99% sure he's going to the Raptors. Other reporters, it's either the Raptors or the Lakers. Those are the only two contenders.
Yeah.
Absolutely, 100%.
He went to the Clippers?
He went to the fucking Clippers.
Okay, yeah.
So it's and that's the thing, is like all this crazy speculation is just, it's setting people up for a disappointment.
You're selling headlines, right? And it's interesting to talk about this because the mania that surrounds sports is very similar and can be just as like oddly toxic as like the mania surrounding like nerd properties.
Absolutely.
Like the geek sort of culture. Anyone who's passionate about anything, and actually those are the things that someone who is super into sports, and that's very important to them, or someone who is super into comic books or super into certain like geek properties.
Yeah.
Like those are two, historically, in a very cliched sense, those are two sort of the opposite ends of the spectrum, but they're actually not. They're very, very close because they're both, that passion is something that both of those groups of people share.
Right.
So that level of mania that's kind of going around, is Kawhi staying, is he leaving, the mania around the Raptors, just the playoff games. Like,
Right.
It's the same energy.
Yeah.
And you can't, I don't think, I mean, maybe one person can or another person, you might be a special case, but divorcing those two things, like Raptors winning, Kawhi staying, like all of that passion, it's messy, right? It's just like messy. And it's messy everywhere. It's messy in like, in comic culture, video game culture, and it becomes like something that's very, it's unbecoming.
You know what though?
But,
that type of passion, I feel like, needs to be constrained to what the moment that should have that passion is being applied to. You know what I mean? Like
I get it. Yeah,
you're getting all
localized passion, if you will.
Localize the passion to the thing that you're passionate about. So like if you're passionate about a Raptors game, when you go to that game, let it out. Stand up, cheer, heckle the fucking the opposing team, just go nuts.
Yeah.
If you're going to a movie, take it all in, formulate your opinion, say what you got to say after the fact, like we do here.
Yeah.
But leading up to that, making everything you do about just leading up until that moment is, I think, where the problem goes into it. Some speculation and some fun banter, and even and basically have fun with it.
Yeah.
But when you're starting to invest too much of yourself in it, you might want to take a step back and look at what you're doing, both in comic books and sports.
Yeah. I think it's generally good advice, but I mean that's passion. Passion by its very definition is like it's not controllable, right? And you get the good stuff,
sure,
and then you also get some of the, I'm gonna say bad stuff. It's just the weird stuff.
The weird stuff.
It's the weird stuff. It's like you get the good stuff, the bad stuff, and the weird stuff. And I would say it's
a good
the whole
movie title.
The Kawhi stuff, the Kawhi leaving stuff is the weird stuff. I wouldn't say it's bad. It's just strange. It's very strange.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I think we all sort of share that in common.
Yeah.
So Toronto won, and that's really what we should be focused on.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And best wishes to Kawhi Leonard, because
Yeah, absolutely.
the guy he came here and did exactly what we needed him to do. He didn't pull any punches. He put in 100%.
That's right.
That's the important thing as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
God bless him. Why did I say that?
God
bless him.
God bless you, Kawhi. I love you.
The
What?
wine's
Who
getting
said
to
that?
What?
So the next thing I wanted to talk about was Mouse Guard. I don't know if you've heard of
Yeah,
this series.
I saw. Yeah.
So there's a comic book series called The Mouse Guard. They were going to make a movie, and I think it was Sony that was going to make the movie.
We've talked about it on the podcast at least a couple times.
And then the Disney transaction happened with Sony, and they canceled the Mouse Guard movie.
Wait, what?
It's canceled. Yeah,
No,
so
I know it's canceled, but what Disney transaction with Sony? Do you mean Fox?
Fox.
Was Fox the one? Okay. No, because Sony Animation does a lot of the Mouse Guard stuff.
God, now I need to check. Fuck.
Okay, you check. But yeah, Sony has like the Marvel deal with Spider-Man, but that's basically it. But they just acquired all their properties from 20th Century Fox, or not acquired all of them, but
sorry, it's Fox.
Fox.
Sorry,
Okay, so
not
that makes
Sony.
sense.
It's Fox. Disney scrapped the movie.
Okay.
Because for various reasons, I guess, because
They're
merger,
rodents, I get it.
Yeah. I guess what's it's like kind of like a mature story, but it's told in animation. It's a hard to market sort of story. Anyway, so it was canceled. Idris Elba was set to be a voice in the movie, and I think Andy Serkis was also going to be a voice and do motion capture for the movie and all that stuff. And the books are great. The story is there, but it's really the visuals of the book. The art is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
And so what they did was and I actually don't have the name
Whoever.
in hand, whoever they released an animatic from the movie.
It was more test footage than animatics. Animatics are usually very basic.
So there's like a little. Did you watch it?
Yes.
Yeah. So
And
there's like a little blurb at the front saying like this is basically like a glorified animatic, where they were like, we're just testing out. We want to get the feel, the look, the texture of like the movie, and say this is what it could be. Mm-hmm. Once those were all completed, they would actually send them over to Weta Digital to do highly realistic, detailed renderings in animation for the film. So they released this thing, and I watched it, and it looked awesome. It really looked amazing. It was done, I think, in the Unreal 3 engine.
Yeah.
And it just looks so great. Now, the mice in the actual test footage, look really janky. They look weird. They look like people, kind of like in a mouse costume.
Yeah.
But and that's because this is an animatic, and they need to move fast, right? They need,
Right.
And so that's fine. I think the entire style would have changed on those character designs once it actually went to production.
Yeah.
But the visuals, like the art style from the book, is really carried over here, because like it was an extremely textural art style. They're so evocative of like a time and place, and it was just, I don't know, it's just really, really well done. I thought the animals, there's a snake in it, there's like a bird dog fight.
Yep.
Like one guy's on a sparrow, like one mouse is on a sparrow, the other one's on a crow, and I eat that shit up. I love it. I love that. I love that kind of stuff, and it was just really kind of sad to see that come out and know that it's not going to be made anymore, which really kind of sucks. So if you guys haven't read the series, it's not a long series. It's I think by Dan Peterson.
You just look it up to follow up. It's like the look of it is, I would say it's not it's definitely not final film quality for a film company like 20th Century Fox or now Disney, but for like a smaller publisher house, they could have put up this quality of stuff out, and it would have been impressive for their means.
Yeah.
Right? When you've got Weta behind you. But like little things like this, like the way that light is shining through their ears and stuff, like this is pretty far along test footage. It's really impressive what they were able to do with this.
Yeah.
And it's not as easy as just throwing a few 3D models into Unreal Engine and then you've got something, right?
There's a very distinct
they've done
style.
Work. Yeah, they've done work.
There's a very distinct style to this. Sorry, and then in the name I said Dave Peterson. It is David Peterson. who created it. He writes it, he draws it. I've met him a few times at Comic-Con. He signed some of the books, like the hardbacks for the series.
So you've met him, but you're not cool enough to call him Dave?
Yeah, well, I said Dave Peterson. I thought that was actually his name, but David Peterson is his
Well, I would have assumed his name was David if you were calling him Dave.
I wasn't sure.
Or Davidicus.
Anyway, so yeah, you finished that. And go check out the series. It's really great. It's amazing. It's just too bad it's not gonna get made. Interestingly enough, the guy who wrote the script for the movie released the script. He's like, this movie's not getting made, but you guys get to read the script. This is what we were going to do. So I downloaded it, and I'm definitely gonna read it. I haven't read it yet, but I'm really curious to see what the script looked like for this movie. And it's really cool that they were able to release that animatic. Release the script. Now, when I read the script, I'm kind of thinking of the visual style of this animation test that they put out. So
as soon as I saw the animation tests, well, it's more than there's lighting and stuff, but the as soon as I saw the demo footage come out, I was just like, are they Deadpooling it? Is that what's happening?
Oh, maybe they're trying to.
Maybe
they're trying.
That was the very first thought I had. Anytime I see a leak, I'm like, Deadpool. Because I mean, that leak of that test footage is ultimately what got the movie made.
That's true.
Had the push. So maybe that's what 20th Century Fox is doing now.
Yeah.
They very well could.
Yeah.
Or not 20th Century Fox, Disney, I guess.
Yeah, it would be Disney.
Well, no, 20th Century Fox would have done the leak or probably been involved with the leak. Maybe they weren't. Whatever. I'm not going to go into conspiracy theories about Deadpool.
But yeah, Mouse Guard. Check out the books if you guys haven't already done so.
Yep.
One other thing I had was they released some artwork for the Witcher Netflix series.
Not artwork.
Well, yeah.
Stills.
Well, the poster. They released a poster.
They also released stills.
Yeah, they released stills as well. And it's the first. I think it's the first images from the series. The first official images from the series. And the poster looks great. And the stills look great.
Sorry.
Yeah, everyone was kind of bitching and moaning that he doesn't have two swords. And it was just kind of one of those geek moments where I was like,
let's calm down.
Yeah. It's like another one of those, we're talking about the Kawhi thing. I'm like, guys, we just need to fucking relax.
Yep.
Like, people are just losing their minds about the two-sword thing. And I was just like, this is... Yeah, this
also,
is part
see
of
the movie. Maybe he has another sword tucked away. Maybe it's one of those magic swords that turns into two. Who knows? I haven't played The Witcher.
No, it's in the games. He's got two swords all the time. But in the books, like in the shorts, I've read the first two novels, which are a collection of short stories, and he's not carrying the silver sword, which is what he uses to hunt monsters, monsters basically. And I think he keeps that on his horse because he doesn't need it all the time.
True.
Right. So it was just funny to see that all that happen. And even if that wasn't the case, even if he does carry two swords all the time in the book, in the game, wherever, and he only has one sword in the poster, still, everybody, relax. Just relax. We're getting a Witcher series. Everybody calm down. Like, they're not going to show you everything right away. Let's watch it. And if things don't turn out the way you want after you've seen it, let the bitching commence. But this is just, it's just this, I just kind of embarrassed. I'm reading about this stuff. I'm like, oh God, you guys are doing it again. Like, you're doing it again. Anyway, looks really cool. A buddy of mine said it looks very much like a Game of Thrones poster. Unfortunately, it kind of does, but I like it because it is, it looks very much like The Witcher.
Yeah,
like,
if you want it to become popular, you want it to be comparable to something that people have had a mania about for fucking 5 years.
Yeah,
however long.
So I'm definitely in. Looks cool. I'm curious what Henry Cavill's going to do with his voice. And I'm a little disappointed he doesn't have a beard, but I think they're starting from the beginning. So he's like he's younger, and I think they're going to use the beard as a way to age him later if they're going to do another season or two. So they need to leave themselves some runway to do that kind of stuff. The cost of the armor looks great. The hair looks so much better now than it did in that first test shot. I don't know if you ever saw that, but it was just this test shot of Henry Cavill like drinking a potion or whatever, and it looked like a really bad wig. But so the hair looks better. So just kind of excited. We're getting a Witcher series, dude. Like, I don't know. We live in a crazy time. We live in a crazy time. We've got, we have Guardians of the Galaxy. We have Aquaman making $1 billion worldwide. We got Black Panther. We've got Ant-Man. We've got all these really obscure properties and we're just like it's an abundance of riches. To be a geek now is really kind of amazing because like all of these properties are getting their own. They're getting TV shows, they're getting movies. It's just it's nuts. It's just crazy to me to think that we're getting a Witcher Netflix series. I don't know. It's cool.
I'm excited. I don't know anything about The Witcher. Haven't played it. I should steal your game. No,
well,
I shouldn't.
I'm still playing.
How? You've been playing this game since time.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ!
I
Atul,
have
finish
been.
your games.
I have been. You sound like my wife.
Yeah, I know, and I should. Because she's very reasonable. If you haven't finished your games, finish them. Mine's like, stop finishing your games so fast, you keep buying other games.
Yeah. No, I just keep buying games and never finishing the ones that I've bought.
That's because you're running around and looking at the grass. You're like, "God, look at how nice this grass looks."
That's what I did.
I'm going to take a seat.
I did that in Skyrim a lot.
Yeah.
I did that. My wife makes fun of me.
You couldn't finish your Skyrim job, and then you were just constantly looking at grass. It's just a bad idea. I never played Skyrim either. I had no interest in that. You literally made me not interested in playing Skyrim because I felt like I was going to get bored. Because hearing about how you play and looking at grass, I got bored.
I wasn't looking at grass. It was the sky when the Aurora Borealis comes out. I'm just like looking at the sky.
I'm sorry. You geeked out at the digital version of the Aurora Borealis.
All right, look. Those are very magical moments when
in the game.
When Shugga used to come to New York and we'd stay in one night or two when if she stayed for 4 or 5 days. I'd be playing this Skyrim and then the Aurora Borealis would come out. I mean, like, Shugga, look, isn't it so pretty? She's like, aren't you supposed to be doing something? Like in this game, like it's.
I have to agree with
her. And I'm like, yeah, no, I am. She's like, why aren't you doing it?
Yeah,
like why are you just like wandering around in the wilderness?
Yeah,
doing nothing.
Yeah,
and I'm like, because it's quite nice. Like it looks great, know, and you got that sense of immersion. She's like, finish the game. Finish the game. And I'm like, well, I think you're missing the point. You can never finish Skyrim. Okay, you can't. You just can't finish that game. It's just, I'm convinced I played it wrong. Okay, I put like maybe 70, 80 hours into that game. And, I've progressed maybe 3% of the story. And honestly, I didn't even get all the items in the game, or I didn't complete a ton of quests. But I had fun. Okay.
Yeah.
I had fun. I was looking at the Aurora Borealis. I was admiring the weather changing system. Like, it would rain, it would snow, and I'm like, oh, this is cool. Yeah.
See, I'm picturing this conversation happening somewhat more like this. Like, you guys are like in bed together. Yeah. And like, you're just waking up from like, you had a nice night. You went out for a nice dinner. Yeah. It was, nice. Morning comes and the light's just shining through, and hey, Shugga. And she's like, yeah. And you go, do you want to go see the Aurora Borealis? And then she's like, oh, and she's thinking like, oh, he's going to take me on a trip. Yeah. This is going to be amazing. And she goes, of course, I'd love to see it. And you go, okay. And you jump over her, grab the PS4 controls, like, look at this screen. And she's just like, I fucking hate you. That's kind of.
I'm not going to say that didn't happen. But look, man. I have a weird relationship for these open world games, but Witcher 3, I'm trying harder to sort of beeline for the end.
You've been trying harder for the last 5 years.
Yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while. All right, maybe we should talk about this movie. I don't know. Do you have something?
No. Well, you know what? The only thing I'm going to say, and we'll lead this into the movie. Right now, yesterday we went out for a wine tour in Niagara-on-the-Lake. And we went to a bunch of different wineries, and we always do, me and Nisha, usually we'll go once a year, and we'll try a few different wineries, but we will always save this one winery last, and it's Caroline Cellars. And right now I'm drinking, this is an old bottle that I got from them a while ago, but this is their Oak Chardonnay. But like, every time we go, all of their bottles are super affordable, like $13 to $20 is usually, like, that's the average for each bottle. And their wine is the best. Like, it's my favorite. Every time we go, we'll go to a bunch of different wineries. The first time we went to like a bunch of different, we had maybe one bottle. There's nothing where like we want to pay that much for this bottle, or there's not huge wine people. Then we went to Caroline Cellars. We got hammered at the front for free because their tastings are free. For one.
Right.
And for two, every single wine that we tasted was better than the last one we just tasted.
Yeah.
We ended up walking out with like 12 or 14 bottles, like 12 or 13. between 12 and 15 bottles,
Yeah.
somewhere in that range. Because everything we tasted was just like, this is great. We had just gotten our house, so we're like, we need to have some wine stocked, and then we got pretty much completely stocked there.
Yeah.
So every time we go, that's like the last stop for us, because we know if we haven't bought a bunch of new stuff and gotten acquainted with other ones, we know that we're going to be able to leave with good stuff from there.
Yeah, well, I mean, we went for the first time yesterday with you guys, and it was the only bottles that I'm not a big wine person, but Shagu is, so she bought 2, and it were $25 all in. That was it for 2 bottles
for
of
2
wine.
bottles.
So yeah, it was really, and I like the place because it's very unpretentious. Like the inside kind of looks like a bar, actually. Like the way it's set up, it's like like a proper bar, and they're very friendly, and like like I said, the tasting, like you already mentioned, the tastings were free, so it's like I could see myself going back there. And so we bought some. We're probably gonna give that a try this week. And what's this one that you got?
It's the 2012 Oak Chardonnay.
Okay.
C hard on, eh?
Yeah.
Spell it.
Yeah. Oh, I see.
There you go.
I see.
It's they're absolutely great. And Bob was the guy that was he's the guy that's literally served us every single time we've gone. Bob.
We like Bob.
Big Bob.
Yeah.
He's a friend.
Yeah.
So
very cool. Yeah.
Niagara on the Lake, Caroline Cellars.
Cool.
I was gonna say Schellers. Caroline Schellers. All right. Yeah, we should. What's this movie again? Child's Play.
This is
Children's Play.
This is Child's Play 2019. I think we should just dive right in.
Sure.
Right? Child's Play 2019. This is the movie that proves that all kids should now learn their life lessons from the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2. I enjoyed that scene.
That was a good scene and a horrible scene.
Yeah.
All at the same moment, because they like literally they saw him try to murder somebody and they put him in the corner.
Yeah.
He's a piece of plastic. Fucking smash it. Smash it good. And I'm going to preface everything that I say about it. That is pretty much my critique of the film.
Sure.
Is smash it good.
Smash it good, yeah.
Now, I will say I enjoyed parts of this film. Mm-hmm. But it is marred by 1, trying too hard, and 2, stupid characters. It's got kind of a Covenant thing going on. But it's more fun than Covenant.
Yeah, Covenant was a dour...
It was a dour downer.
Yeah, dour
led by
downer.
a bunch of dum-dums just running around.
Yeah. My favorite line from Covenant, quick tangent, was... we've had these aliens birthing out of people. Someone got his jaw knocked off by an alien, and the girl's like, "I'm gonna go take a shower."
Yeah,
so fucking stupid. What are you doing?
We have bigger problems than your BO, bitch.
Yeah,
Stop.
Seriously, that broke it. That broke that scene.
So you're agreeing with me then about Covenant? Is that what's happening right now?
That broke that scene.
Sorry, I got excited.
That broke that scene. I still like the movie. Anyway, so back to Child's Play. I kind of sort of agree with you, but I actually don't think that was a problem for this movie. I thought it was, a movie that can weave the current state of sort of like technology and its effect on our lives and create something wildly entertaining out of that. It's a huge win for me. It's a huge win in my book. Like, that's why I really want to see it, and I haven't seen it yet, but Unfriended is another movie I want to see that has that basis of social, like sort of the social media technology commentary, but puts this ridiculous horror movie on top of that. And there are other movies and shows that have done this, okay? And I'm not saying that this is high art by any stretch of the imagination, but there are other things that have done this with that are more earnest. Like, the first thing that comes to mind, I haven't seen a lot of episodes of Black Mirror, but Black Mirror does this, where they take technology and kind of, this is from what I hear and from what I've read. I've seen one episode, lovingly known as the pig fucking episode.
That's the first episode? That's the one people tell me not to see.
Oh, okay.
Everybody's like, watch Black Mirror, but not the first episode.
Not the first episode.
Every other episode's great,
Yeah.
but not the first one.
Yeah, I saw that. I actually liked it, the episode. But I haven't been pulled into the other episodes because it is a very earnest, real take on all of that. But for me personally, I love like the technological sort of social commentary like Bedrock, and just building a zany horror movie on top of it.
Yeah,
just making it super super entertaining. I'd watch an Unfriended before I watch a Black Mirror. Like in my opinion. Yeah, so like it kind of makes me a dum-dum. but I'm enjoying myself with this one. I really like. I had a good time in the theater.
It like, I think there was a lot of fun parts, but yeah, the dum-dums. Too many dum-dums.
Well, so did you like? So I think we saw the original. We did a review for Drinking with Skeletons on the original. So I think we both liked it.
Yes,
if I recall, we both liked it. I liked it. I liked the original.
You know what the original had that this one didn't is, you know what, how I keep joking about dum-dums in this one?
Yeah.
There wasn't really room for, just throw away the fucking doll or something like that in that one, right? Or smash the doll until it's dead.
Yeah.
Because that one was driven by a person. He knows what he's doing from the get-go.
Yeah.
This one was basically an infant for 3/4 of the movie. He's dumb and gullible. He has no idea what's going on.
Yeah.
You're teaching him what's good and what's bad.
Yeah.
So realistically, I think we should take away from this film that Andy's going to be a shitty parent.
Yeah.
His kid is going to be a homicidal maniac. But that aside, they had 3/4 of this film to do something definitive about this doll, and they kept on throwing things down the garbage chute instead of trying to do something about this about this crazy doll.
Yeah.
But
I think I think the idea there was that there's an emotional connection to the doll. Right. So
yes.
So and they do lean into that somewhat, right? Andy is not a social kid, and his mom gets him this doll, sort of like as almost like a gag gift, like the way she's giving it to him. But he ends up, hanging out with the doll.
Yes.
Right. So there is a relationship with the doll. So throwing it out, destroying it, that's not the first thing on his mind. Right. So
I don't buy that though. But like when you go from a point to the doll, like saying some swear words, and you're like, I don't know about this. Maybe I should send it back to the manufacturer. Or him trying to choke your cat.
Yeah.
I feel like at that point, it's hammer getting time. Or not even like...
The cat deserved it, though.
Fuck off.
He did.
That cat was kind of a dick.
Yeah.
That's one of the cats I don't like. But when you're looking at, like, when it gets to the point where he's taking people's faces off...
Oh,
and they're like, let's just take the battery out. No, you fucking put that thing through a wood chipper after you're done. It's plastic. Don't stop with the battery. Keep smashing. Because that's the thing. That's the thing I didn't get about that. Like, and that's 3/4 of the movie. They had a lot of opportunities to stop him. Like after he tries to stab his friend.
Yeah.
After, what was the other thing that happened? After he killed his
wait,
cat.
wait.
He killed his fucking cat, and he's like, it's fine.
We're getting into spoilers, but yes.
Oh, I figured after the lines really spoilery time.
Oh.
Anyways, he kills somebody's face and kills somebody's cat. Now that's all the spoilers I'm going to give. I'm sorry, I've been drinking a lot of the I've drank more than the Chardonnay than I should have. I'm sticking around for a bit. We're going to play Mortal Kombat.
Sure,
now,
that's fine. Yeah.
So anyways, if you haven't already figured it out, we're kind of into spoiler territory at this point. Do you want to pull back and talk a little bit?
Yeah, there's some general stuff here first before we jump into spoilers.
Yes.
This is in the movies the remakes I like. Like, along with Fright Night.
Fair.
I like Fright Night, the remake.
Okay.
I like the RoboCop remake.
Yes, yeah.
And I like this remake. It's different from the original while sharing the same sort of basic commentary on consumerism.
Yeah.
Like, both of them have that madness, that maddening consumerism bent to them. And, like the first one I think was based on sort of like the Cabbage Patch craze with the Cabbage Patch dolls, and we've lived through some of those too, like the Tickle Me Elmo stuff, the Furby stuff, even the Hatchimals, I believe, was a more recent one in the last maybe 5-6 years. Where I don't know if you've heard.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I'm not fully aware of everything here, but I believe Hatchimals, they're basically an egg that you can it'll hatch over time. You have to do things to make it hatch, and what comes out, you don't know what you're going to get. It could be something different every time, right? So finding those, and those were super hot as a toy, and every kid wanted them, right? So you get these, it's mass hysteria getting these, and then obviously the documentary Jingle All the Way with
documentary
with Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's another great example. But I'm not a pervert. Yeah. So I think that this movie shares that, because it kind of does the consumerism thing, and it shares that in common with the first movie, but then does something totally different with it.
Yeah.
And so I think that it lives on its own. In fact, I would say one of the things criticisms I would level at the film is that it didn't have to be a remake of Child's Play. I think that this could have been its own movie.
Do you feel like it was that much of a? Oh, I see.
Meaning, I don't think it had.
They don't have to leverage.
They don't have to leverage Child's Play.
I completely agree. 100%.
I know that they did it because it's got the name recognition and stuff, and it does share some that common DNA. But I actually think this could have lived as a movie on its own,
right?
Like with its own premise.
Agreed.
But tying it back to Child's Play, it's kind of neat, and the imagery is there. But I think it could have lived on its own. Not to be a remake.
I felt like here's the thing is I don't feel like that it was definitely different than the original.
Yeah.
But to your point, I completely agree with you that it could have been its own thing because it shied away from a lot of what made Child's Play special in the supernatural and having more of a angry person to this young kid, kind of that dynamic going on instead of just this young kid and a stupid toy.
Right.
That's literally stupid for a lot of the movie.
Yeah.
And then 3/4 of the way, it kind of turns into a Terminator film when it's a lot more sentient and is trying to kill people.
That's right. Yeah. All right. Well, so let's jump into some spoilers.
Yeah.
The movie starts with Caslin Corporation, which I believe is the same company from the.
No idea.
It might be.
No idea.
Anyway, who's this actor that plays this guy?
I don't know his name, but he's fucking.
He's the Bull and the Horns guy.
Yeah,
no,
it's not Bull and the Horns. He's
oh my
God,
I can't remember his name.
Animal House. He's the lead from Animal House.
Yeah, that's right. So he's kind of the spokesperson. It starts with this commercial about the new Buddy doll, and the doll is a connected device. And I've already loved this movie. As soon as this happened, and he's a connected device. I think maybe some people think that this is like a weird thing, like this would never happen. But the same people said the same things about Enemy of the State when it came out and being able to track people, or like when people when they did science fiction movies and they were tracking people through cities and there was like a 3D representation of a city and the camera's going through the city. I can do that on Google Maps on my phone now. It's like. I feel like a lot of the things that they're like, oh, they would never do this. I'm like, well, now we have devices in our home that listen to us constantly and we have connected cameras and we have connected, voice. A doll for kids that is connected, that is not ridiculous by any stretch of the imagination.
Not at all.
I feel like this commercial was perfect.
Yeah.
It was so perfect.
I agree. Then it was marred by the fucking ridiculous Vietnam intro.
Oh, I loved it.
And that's where I go into the whole trying too hard part.
I love
because it's like, basically, okay, I'll summarize exactly what happened.
Yeah, sure.
Somebody got slapped, he got upset and turned off a bunch of switches on the doll and shipped it. That's all that happened. That is the genesis of the homicidal doll in this film, is one angry Vietnam guy, or Vietnamese factory worker, that turned off a few switches in the doll and shipped it out. And then he killed himself for, I guess, a pretty weak reason.
We don't know.
I don't know his home life.
He's probably divorced and recently divorced. Found out, he was diagnosed.
He got slapped at work 3 times.
The guy
was so ridiculous.
The guy slapping him was kind of a surprise. It was very surprising. But yeah, he just
broke. That was the best part of the movie for me. You got this great commercial that we're like, he's connected to every device, and then all of a sudden you're in a Vietnamese factory that makes these buddy dolls, and then you're panning across, and this guy just gets slapped.
Yeah, no, it's true.
It was,
but that's
silly.
kind of like I think I love that this movie is ridiculous. It's ridiculous, but I think it's built on a very solid foundation of like this is the kind of the direction we're moving in. We're not taking it super seriously. This isn't Black Mirror,
right?
This is Child's Play, and never forget it. So the boss slaps the Vietnamese worker.
He's such an asshole.
The cut from the pristine sort of almost like Apple, Apple like commercial. To the awful working conditions of a Vietnamese factory that's making these.
Let's face it. It just seemed like it was hot. Aside from the slaps, I don't know if the slaps. I feel like that guy's the only guy that gets slapped.
How can she slap?
I feel like he's the only guy that gets slapped in the office.
How can he slap?
Because the boss is trying to put him in line.
Yeah, no, I.
Franklin needs to be doing his job, but he's not. And then all of a sudden, some of the other workers at the Vietnamese factory are just like, Franklin's getting away from it, or getting away with it. Let's just, let's take it down a notch. And then the boss comes and starts slapping Franklin.
likely his name is not Franklin.
I mean, I don't want to be racially insensitive, so his name could be Franklin.
Okay, look. Listen. There's a Vietnamese worker, and he disables a lot of these safety features. The reason how he has access to this firmware is beyond me. Like, I don't know. There's no safety checks. Nobody
typed
needs
way
any
too
permission.
fast.
It's one of those definitely cliched movie moments where it's like enhance.
Yes.
So now you get the genesis, like you said, the genesis of this one doll, which has had it is an AI chip that is in all of these dolls, and because the way the commercial advertises that the doll scans you. All of this, I loved it.
Yeah.
It scans you. It imprints on you. It recognizes your face. You have an app on your phone that you can control the doll with. You can talk to it. It can learn. It's like all of this stuff, totally real.
Yes.
I buy it 100%. You know, obviously this guy just going in and disabling. It's like disable. They had something called like violence inhibitor or something like that. I'm like, why is that? You know, like. So you've built an AI, and then what they've done is like, okay, they put a wrapping around it that stops it from doing certain things.
It's basically a learning computer, and they're putting in things that they're like, if you learn this, don't you do it.
Don't you do it, yeah. And I'm like, maybe that's not the best approach, like, to manufacturing. But anyway, he goes and he does that. So this one doll is essentially, he's an
asshole.
He's got the chains off, right? Yeah. And so then we cut to Chicago, which is, I was very confused about where this movie takes place and when it takes place. It's very confusing because I'm pretty sure at one point I saw Halloween decorations up, and then at another point someone's taking their Christmas lights down. So I was like, I don't know what and there's no snow, but it's Chicago. So I was very, very confused.
Chicago does have a summer.
No, but why is he taking his Christmas lights down?
I just think that him and his family are lazy.
Okay, that's possible. Yeah, anyway, so in Chicago, you meet Karen, who is the mother of a 13-year-old boy named Andy. And Karen is played by...
Aubrey Plaza.
Aubrey Plaza, who is incredibly
the best.
attractive.
I fucking love Aubrey Plaza.
Incredibly attractive, but has also carried over her dry humor to this movie. I didn't
that's
think
why
that
I
was
love
going to
Aubrey
happen.
Plaza.
Yeah,
No,
a lot
she's
of
the
her
best.
sort of deadpan dry humor has been brought into this movie from her other roles.
Yes.
She was trying to look for something for Andy. Sort of. It sounds like they're struggling, like in terms of money.
Yep.
And Andy's father's not in the picture anymore, and she is trying to get him something for his birthday. She ends up finding a doll that's being returned because it's kind of malfunctioned.
Yeah.
And that is the doll, the Vietnamese slap doll. The one that was altered. So she takes that and she has this conversation with her supervisor in the store. It's like, what happens to these dolls when they get returned? She's like, oh, we send them back to Caslin. She's like, okay, well, what do they do with it? And he's like, well, they probably just like pulp it or like, throw it out or whatever. She's like, oh, well, then it's okay if I keep it. He's like, I don't think that's such a good idea. And she's like, well, something to the effect of, I don't think it's a good idea for your wife to find out that you were banging Barbara in the back, in like the shed or something like that. And I'm like, wow, that came out of nowhere. And that's where this sort of dry humor, Aubrey Plaza's dry humor, really does work. It actually made me laugh. So she ends up getting this doll and giving it to Andy, and then he unwraps it and starts to boot up the doll, and this is where you hear his voice. For the first time, and the doll imprints on Andy. But the whole process, I love that detailed stuff where they're like, okay, the movie actually tells you how it's connecting to all the Caslin devices,
right,
and how it's learning. It's like, okay, you plug in the USB, connect it to your phone. The phone downloads the latest learning software. He basically does an upgrade,
right,
on the device.
Yes,
right, and it's like, it's all very practical.
It's basically how I configured my Google Home.
Yeah,
everything
exactly.
Except for the scanning my face.
Exactly.
It might have done that.
Yeah, it might have done. They probably did.
Yeah.
But that's, I really appreciate about they went the extra step to show you technically how it's working, because that immersion factor is important.
Yes.
So, and then you hear the Buddy doll speak.
Yes.
And you hear Mark Hamill's voice.
What did you think of his voice?
I liked it.
I was disappointed, but that I think is a result of expectations.
Yeah.
Mark Hamill, I mean, for those who don't know, he was Luke Skywalker in the Star Wars films, but he's also been the Joker in a lot of incarnations of him in the animated series,
Sure, yeah.
of definitely all of the animated
movies.
series and some of the animated films.
Yeah.
Regarded arguably as the best Joker of all time, whatever.
I think he was Fire Lord Ozai also in like
he's been in a lot of animated things. He did Death Clock.
Avatar,
He did
like
tons of
Avatar, The Last Airbender. So
Probably, yeah.
like a lot of popular, like
Yes.
he's done a ton of like popular voiceovers.
Yeah, and I will say this: it's different than like I don't know what I expected going in, but I thought that it would be more maniacal and exciting.
Yeah.
And I don't even feel like at the Chucky character's most maniacal, it was Mark Hamill at his best. I don't want to say it seemed phoned in, because I don't think that. I just feel like more work could have been done on it to kind of find more of a voice than just kind of a generic Mark Hamill voice.
Sure. I actually liked it because it was reserved. Because the direction they were going in with this movie is that the doll is not possessed, which is the original movie is the doll is possessed by a serial killer. So there's
By Brad Dourif.
By Brad. No.
The serial killer.
Brad Dourif. Oh man!
Please see, if you haven't seen our YouTube episode of Drinking with Skeletons on Child's Play, it's pretty fun.
It's fun, and watch the movie because it's actually a really remarkable sort of 80s film, and I think it still looks great, and it's still fun. It's still fun to watch.
One thing I forgot, I could have mentioned this about the in the pre-spoilers part, but the amount of practical effects. In
this movie?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was great. That's what I'm getting to that.
He was mostly practical in most of the shots. There was a couple of somewhat janky-looking CG shots of the bears for sure.
Yes.
And then his weird stabby thing. Yeah. But, like, other than that, most of it looked to be practical.
That's right.
If not all of it.
There is
really
one scene where Andy, after he opens the box, is holding his hand.
Yeah.
He's holding the Buddy doll's hand and walking into his room.
Yeah.
I don't know what they did there. It could have been a combination of CG and practical.
Yeah.
But he's walking, and it's all a single shot, and he's walking next to him.
I was watching it.
Yeah,
and
I'm
I was
like looking at it.
Good.
I can't figure this out. It looks real.
I think it was a blend of a little bit of CG, but if you asked me to point out what was the CG...
Not a clue.
Nope.
It was
they did it really well.
It was a really amazing shot. And I think in general, the effects in this movie were great.
Great.
I like the fact that Mark Hamill was reserved in his voice because this doll is not evil. It's like the idea here is that this doll is learning to be evil because of the people around him, the humans that are surrounding him, and he's like, learning computer, right? So he's like learning everything, and it just happens that people around him are kind of dicks, right? Mm. So that's the difference. That's one of the major differences. So his voice not going maniacal until he only goes full like Joker Mark Hamill in the last shot of the movie. And I think that's
could
the
have
only
been
time
earlier.
that,
and not only earlier, but when he's starting to get crazy, I think there could have been more of a distinctive switch there. Not to the point of the end of the movie, because the end of the movie should be, peak mania.
Yeah.
But up until that point, like where he was saying, like for instance, the cat one would have been a great part to be a little bit like, "Did you see what I did? I got him for you.
Yeah.
He scratched you. I got him."
Yeah.
That would have been a good part for him to really raise the bar, and I felt like he still kept it at the same level for most of the film until the very end.
Yeah.
And I felt like he could have been a little bit back and forth, a little bit more with it.
Yeah.
That's my only complaint. And that, to be honest, if this was anybody other than Mark Hamill, I would probably not be saying a goddamn thing. Just Mark Hamill's so high quality when it comes to voice acting that I feel like he could have done a better job at switching those two. But I mean, I'm critiquing probably one of the best.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I don't know. I disagree. I think that his
well, you're an asshole.
His delivery as sort of like the anti sort of maniacal Mark Hamill was a nice change of pace.
Sure.
I thought.
No, that's fair.
So a couple of things happened here. We learned that Karen is dating this guy who was a total asshole.
I will fight for Shane until the end of this movie.
Oh, for him?
For him.
No,
me and Shane.
Dude,
okay. All right. Let's talk about Shane. Let's talk about Shane.
Oh,
the man likes craft brews. Okay? I'm not saying I saw the labels, but I'm guessing they're craft brews. He seems like a craft brew kind of guy. 2, he found out that Andy was talking shit about him secondhand. Even third hand if you really want to count the fact that the doll's not human.
So the doll is recording everything. There's a video camera in his head. Through his eyes, he can see stuff. Through the app, you can see what the doll is seeing. Yep. This is all very like Nest camera-y sort of going on, and they could connect to all of like the television and your thermostat and like all of this stuff. And so the doll's kind of like recording stuff,
yes,
just like a Google Home or an Alexa will do. and happens to record Andy talking shit about Karen's boyfriend Shane, and Shane hears about it and he comes in and like confronts Andy about it, but like roughs him up a little bit.
He doesn't rough him up.
He pushes him.
He pushes him on the bed. That is literally the minimal amount. He's like, you need to sit down. That's like picking him up and putting him down gently on a bed. You might as well just push him. It didn't look like a push, like where a striking push, where you like hit the person and push them.
But he's basically treating it like a schoolyard bully. Like rather
than a little bit.
Not even a little bit.
Look, all I'm saying is if they really wanted
ridiculous,
to...
No, and you're doing it on purpose.
No, I'm not doing it on purpose because, listen, I literally wrote down in notes before I came here that Shane was not as bad as everybody said. And here's why. He was not that bad to Aubrey Plaza's character. At all. He was kind of a dick. I'm not saying he's like the ideal boyfriend with... No,
he's a dick.
He's a bit of a dick.
No, he's a total
No, he is not. I need to be scalped by some sort of a wood chipper type of...
We're getting to that.
I don't care.
We're getting to
I'm
that.
getting to it now.
No, because we need to tell our audience how much of a dick this guy is.
He's not... Okay.
I loved his
Pile
death.
it on.
His death scene was so well earned.
It was great.
It was so well earned.
It wasn't earned. It was a good one. He should have been more of a dick. He should have been doing like PCP and... like stealing some of Aubrey Plaza's shit. Yeah, he's cheating on his family.
He's cheating on his family.
Yeah.
He's roughing this kid up. He's not this kid's dad.
No.
He should have gone to like his mom before like confronting a child.
I'll say he was a bit aggressive on his approach to that whole situation.
A bit?
A bit.
No, that's ridiculous.
He should have sat down and said, "Listen, Andy, I know that I'm not your dad. We have a bit of a problem. Let's talk about it." Instead, he did that basically just, a little angry and pushing him on the bed.
But he's a dick. That's his character.
Yeah,
so
but he's not
dick.
that much of a dick.
No,
he makes questionable choices.
So anyway, so they've got the Shane's in his life. Andy is kind of like doesn't make any friends.
Right.
But now he has his doll. He's hanging out with his doll and finds out the doll can do some cool shit.
Yes.
Finds out the doll can swear, and he's suspecting. He's like this is weird because these dolls are not supposed to be able to do that. Meets two other kids, and they had this montage of them doing fun stuff with the doll, because the doll is like, it's like a rooted device or something now, like they can get it to do stuff. And they had this really great scene where Andy's like, I really want to scare Shane because he's such a dick, and can you make a weird face, like smile but leave you like open your mouth as far as it could go, smile as far as, and it shows the doll trying to do exactly what he's describing, and I fucking had me in stitches. I loved that scene because he's like, smile as far, because they go back, you'd be like, okay, forget about it, and then the doll's face would go back to reset, and he'd be like, okay, smile as far as you can. He goes, and like you hear the motors turning, and he's like, okay, now open your mouth as far as you can. He's like, and he's like, okay, move your eyes like this, and then you see the doll like doing it. It was really funny, well done. So there's montage of them doing stuff like that, but then there's a scene with the cat. The cat attacks Andy, scratches Andy, and the doll is protective. Now with all of these safeguards, there's a self-preservation thing. There's a protect my, the person I imprinted on thing. And he has this great scene where he goes and he's strangling the cat.
Yeah.
And I loved that scene because it was just like creeping over to him. He's like, it's like close. Like you hear the motors in his hands like slowly crushing this like cat's like neck. And Andy discovers him, like, no, you can't do that. And then obviously continues on their merry way like nothing happened.
Obviously, because that's
naturally
what children do.
Yeah. So I think what really turns things around is that Andy and his two new friends are watching the Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, which is kind of a send-up of the first movie, apparently. I've not seen the second one, but it's supposed to be sort of a comedy. And have you seen the second one?
I think I have.
Okay.
I've seen a few of them, but usually drunk.
So Chucky's watching them watch this movie, and there's obviously like someone gets scalped and someone gets their face ripped off. Yeah. And there's all this like, what does he say? Heads up, bitch.
Heads up, bitch.
He uses that line more than once in the movie, and the doll trying to mimic, like he shows the doll recognizing that they're watching violence and they're happy. They're laughing. Right. And so the doll now, takes a knife and is like, hey, look, Andy, I can do these things, and sort of attacks one of his friends. And that's when they realize that, oh, that's going too far. But the relationship between Andy and the doll is still there. Andy realizes that he has something special. This is not like the other dolls.
Yeah.
Yes, could be a little dangerous, but they just need to be careful. That's why I don't believe that he as a kid who doesn't make friends.
Yeah.
Who is now befriended, or something that has attracted other people. He has something special that he can offer and become friends and like integrate with all of these other with all of the other kids his age. He's not gonna just destroy it right away. There has to be something catastrophic that happens, and which it does.
At this point, he doesn't think that maybe putting him in the closet or whatever he did at that point, he just threw him in the room and is like, I'm going out with my friends. You stay here.
Yeah. He
thought that was a good approach to something that is learning based on what he's teaching.
He's like 12 or 13. Like, he's not, this isn't,
okay, so
guys, come on.
If you're 12 or 13, usually you're making very rash decisions. Part of those decisions probably would have been taking a hammer to the fucking thing, or taking that knife that he just took out of it to the fucking thing. I can't get on board with the fact that at this point, he's like, I'm going to put you in the room and leave you alone with my family, and I'm going to go out with my friends. My mother's sleeping in the other room. Little knife-wieldy doll, you stay here in my room, unguarded. You can open the door. I've seen it. What? I'm just upset that this doll was in a position to kill Aubrey Plaza. That's really... really the thing that upsets me the most.
Anything this kid did to put her in danger, you're like, fuck you, kid.
Yeah, fuck you,
You don't know what
kid.
you're doing.
You're dumb.
So, eventually what happens is that Shane confronts Andy because Andy doesn't like Shane, and the doll records that and plays it back while he's in the house.
Yeah.
One of the dynamics that's different about this movie is the doll moving around in the original 1988 movie is unexpected because it is a doll. And the doll doesn't move.
Yeah.
And so when the doll ends up in weird places, that is a moment of suspense.
Yes.
Right? In this movie, it's completely the opposite dynamic. When the doll ends up in unexpected places, it's not a it's not a moment of suspense because the characters in the movie are like, oh, it can move. Like, they're expecting it. It's basically like a doll and a Roomba, like, put together. And there's a great Roomba moment at the end of this movie that I really love, but we'll get to that in a minute. So the dynamics of this movie are completely flipped, which is another thing that I thought was pretty clever. It's like they're expecting this doll to move around.
Yeah.
So when the doll ends up sitting on a chair, they're not like, oh, that's weird. They're more of like, oh, the doll's sitting on a chair because it just moved there because it's a learning computer or whatever. So the first kill, I think it's the first kill in the movie. That's one thing.
Oh, it's the cat.
Oh, the cat.
Poor
But
fella.
I don't care about the cat. The cat deserved it. So does Shane. So Shane goes home, and you find out in this scene that he two surprises. One, that he is a family man, so he's been cheating on his family, and Aubrey Plaza doesn't know that. Also, that he has a watermelon patch.
What's wrong with that? Watermelon's delicious.
Yeah, I know. It's weird. It's so strange because I don't know where this movie I was very discombobulated by this movie. I thought it was Halloween.
Yeah.
Then I was like, take down the Christmas lights. And I'm looking around. They don't ever say he's a watermelon farmer or whatever. But the camera's passing over. I'm like, what are these things on the ground? Like, what is this? A pumpkin patch?
Yeah.
Like, where are we? And then it was only later that I found out they're watermelons.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why? And like, he's taking the Christmas lights down.
Yeah.
I'm like, isn't it too cold for watermelons?
Yeah.
Why isn't there any snow? I was very confused.
That's the big thing about this movie is I felt like, especially at that part, like a lot of shit was just written in for convenience. They're like, we need to have like somebody comes into the room that's an executive and is like, Chucky is gonna kill this person with whatever the tiller. Machine,
tiller. It's like a tiller. Yeah.
He has to kill him with a tiller, and we have to have his scalp fly off. Figure it out, and then they leave. And they're like, how the fuck are we gonna do that? Because tillers don't move fast. Chucky doesn't have the strength to be able to push this thing fast.
Yeah.
It's got to like slowly crawl to him.
Yeah.
All right, we'll tie him up. What are we gonna tie him up with? He's gonna fall on some rope and it'll tie him up. Let's not get silly. Well, what if he's like doing something, gets tied up in it? What happens that you could do that with? Christmas lights. Everything else we've shot at this point is like maybe fall.
Yeah, that's right. Like
they're just kind of late to get to it.
Yeah. No, I mean, and maybe I missed something. I'll be honest. Like, it's possible that I've missed some sort of transition of time. But he's had the doll for a while, so I believe that he's had her made for a couple months. So that sort of makes sense. But the fact that there's no snow, is it cold outside? Was he wearing a jacket, a winter jacket? Like, I don't get it. It's supposed to take place in Chicago. It's supposed to be cold. Anyway, this is all very confusing. It just added to the weirdness of the scene. He's going up to take these lights down.
Yeah.
And Chucky has followed him to the house and, knocks the ladder.
Yeah.
And he kind of gets tied up in the Christmas lights. But he also, does he cut him? Oh, no, he breaks his legs. So Shane, I'm going into a lot of detail here. Because
Aggressively breaks his legs.
Yeah. It's like when he lands, it's like compound fractures on both sides. Yeah. And so he breaks his legs, and he's trying to crawl away. And Chucky goes and turns on the tiller.
Yeah.
Okay, so this tiller is gets caught in the lights. Now it's dragging him towards the tiller. The tiller's getting closer, and it's getting closer to his head. And this is a great shot because now Shane is holding the tiller with one hand.
Yeah.
So the tiller isn't aggressively moving forward, but
No.
he can hold it with one hand.
Yeah.
Then Chucky jumps on his chest, right? And what does he do? Does he stab him in the chest?
He threatens to stab. He doesn't stab until he's getting tillered.
Yeah, so he threatens to stab him, and he stops and to get Chucky off, and the tiller comes in and scalps him.
Yeah.
And the scalp gets caught in the tiller, the scalp gets thrown on a garden gnome or a watermelon. I can't remember, but it lands right
something,
on top
and it
of
made
something.
me laugh
It's
too.
really, really funny.
Yeah.
And it rips his whole face off. Oh no, sorry, no, he scalps him, and Chucky stabs him repeatedly.
Yeah.
And then later, Andy wakes up in the morning and sees on his dresser, the face of Shane, which has been carved off of Shane's cadaver and put onto the. And I don't know, this whole thing just made me so happy. I was just like, this is great.
The way he walks by it and then turns around and comes back. Yeah, it was a good double take on his part.
That's what it was.
It was fun.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I feel like this is also a product of an executive being like, oh, by the way, after the tiller thing, he's got to give him his face. Figure it out! No. That's what happened.
No, I think the face thing was planned because it's directly from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2.
No, I know. But I feel like he shouted that, and then the writers were just like, what is he going to do? Just throw a face on him? What are we going to do? We got to make it cinematic.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a pumpkin patch. He puts it on the pumpkin.
He puts it...
No, we can't have pumpkins. We don't know what time this is. So let's use watermelons. Why do we want to use watermelons? Well, because everybody loves watermelons. They're delicious. Get on it! And that's what happened.
Oh my god, dude. And this scene was so good. Because he wakes up in the morning, walks right by the face that's wrapped around a watermelon, and then, like you said, does a double take, comes back, and I was just, I don't know, it was hysterical. I thought it was so funny. It was like really funny. Effective. And then he calls his friends. He's like, this face is sitting here, and Chucky is saying that, he's like, why? Chucky's like, can we play now?
Yeah.
Because, I've removed this obstacle in your life. And he's like, why did you do that? And he plays back the video of Andy freaking out after Shane confronts him. He's like, I wish he was gone. I don't want to deal with him anymore. I hate him. And Chucky is essentially doing what he thinks is the right thing to do. Combining that with what he learned from Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2, which I think, I don't know, this whole thing just makes me smile. I love it.
Okay.
So the two kids come over, and they have this really funny scene of deciding what to do with this watermelon face, right? And the one kid's got this great line. It's like, oh, why is there water? Why a watermelon? Because that's what I'm thinking in the audience. I'm like, I don't know why there's a watermelon here. Anyway, so they have this whole gag of them trying to wrap it up and dispose of it, but they get caught. Then he's got to go to dinner and stuff. And they end up disposing of it in a garbage chute.
Attempting to. And then it goes to some bit character that is just in the movie for no reason.
That's right.
And it's very inconsistent.
Yeah. No, he's consistently creepy.
Mike's cool. The mother's not. That's a big problem with me, was she was introduced as this weird, angry, drunk character. And then all of a sudden she's this sweet, loving character that is saying, "Oh, I'm your best friend."
I don't think she was angry. She was being. It was being.
She was yelling at him to get in the house,
yeah,
and she was drinking.
Cliched motherly. That's all it was. But she's also a lush. Yeah, she was a lush. But that was I thought that was consistent. It was part of her character. Like, she's a lush, but she
seemed. They were introducing her as an angry, like a negative character is probably between positive and negative. She seemed negative right out the gate. Controlling, get in the house, Mike, and cook for me. Like, that seemed like a negative character right off the bat.
Yeah,
and
I don't know. I didn't feel that way. I thought that it was just one facet of the character that you saw, because that's the way she is to her son. She just nags him.
I was confused. I was confused when they went to the door and she's just like, "Yeah, I'll play along with this." I was like, I thought you were not a good character. So
anyway, you're stupid. So
you're dumb.
he disposes of it. He manages to dispose of it, but the guy down the hall, Detective Mike, is kind of weirded out by, like, because Andy's acting strange.
Yeah.
And now Andy realizes that Chucky is extremely dangerous, has killed somebody, and they need to get rid of him. So he sets a trap for Andy, which he's very emotional about, because he does, he's connected with. Sorry, he sets a trap for Chucky because he's connected with Chucky, and then the kids jump Chucky and rip out the battery on the inside, which, in my opinion, as a 13-year-old kid, ripping out the battery, the power source, I don't need to do anything more. You're saying put it through a wood chipper or whatever. I don't think you need to do that.
You're getting murdered in a horror movie.
Lights out. Nope. He ripped out the Iron Man heart of this thing.
Have you not gone on eBay? You can buy any part for anything. You need to put that motherfucker through something that turns it into pulp.
Yeah, but that's the thing. These kids are so young; they don't get it. He keeps throwing shit down the garbage chute. As a kid, would think that when I throw in the garbage, it's gone. It's like this
what
very
was the
childish
second to last scene of this movie?
Childish outlook. Just called Child's Play.
No, what the fuck did I just ask you? I said, what's the second to last?
I was finishing my thought.
Oh,
no,
sorry.
I wasn't listening to you.
Apologies.
Yeah.
What is the second to last scene in this? Is them smashing the fucking dolls or the doll with hammers?
Yeah. Because they
should have done that right away. How don't you think that that's how kids look? I saw Ghostbusters 2 when I was young. That fucking thing of Vigo scared me to the point where I would run out of the room where I couldn't watch that film. Vigo. I'm not kidding. That is how scared I was of that painting. Anytime he was on the film, I fucking ran.
The Scourge of Moldavia.
Yeah, I ran out of the room because I knew something was going to go on and I didn't want to see it.
Right.
I feel like if that was in front of me, if I had a moment where I could smash it to death, I would smash it to death. Otherwise, I would have ran away. And then that would be a much less interesting film because I wouldn't be in there anymore.
That's right.
Andy wouldn't be in the film. He would have ran away.
Listen.
There's not enough smashing of this doll 3/4 of the movie.
I don't know what to tell you. I don't think this movie is making Covenant or Prometheus level of dumb characters. I think they're just kids. They're just kids throwing shit down the garbage chute, being like, it's gone.
Were you a really dumb child? Is that why you're saying this? Because I know for a fact I would have smashed that doll. Maybe not after the cat choking, but definitely after the cat killing. That is grounds for smashing, sir. All the way. Take the battery out, smash it. Gone.
It's a rash decision.
I'm a rash person, sir.
So they deactivate the doll by ripping the battery out, and they throw the husk down the garbage chute. The entire movie, they've been setting up this guy setting up video cameras in the building, and he's just this really greasy, sort of overweight, cliched creepo.
Yeah, he's basically a character actor Jack Black.
Oh yes,
he
looked so much.
The second I saw him, I thought, "Is that Jack Black?" Yeah. Nah, it's a stunt double.
Yeah, it's definitely a stunt double. Yeah, so he ends up finding the Chucky doll, or the Buddy doll, and they're really expensive, right? These dolls. So he's gonna try and sell it on eBay. You go down to his orgy den, and you find that he's got cameras in all the rooms. He's been watching all the women in their bathrooms. He's super creepy, and he gets the dolls. He gets the battery, a replacement battery for the doll. Puts the battery inside, but also opens the doll up, and he has this great line. It's like, "Let's open you up and see what we're dealing with," which I thought was great because that's used more than once by Chucky himself later in the movie. But he also has this great moment where he's watching Aubrey Plaza get undressed in the bathroom, and he's fully reaching down under camera to choke the chicken.
Choke the chicken.
But that's when Chucky attacks him, and he has a pretty great death scene via a bandsaw. I think it's a bandsaw, right?
There's a lot. I don't even know what was the coup de grace in that scene.
Yeah, he's holding on to the pipe.
He got attacked by every single appliance in his house that was controlled by Caslin.
And it was so funny because it was so roundabout when he's holding on to the pipe and the bandsaw is underneath him. And in order to get him to let go of the pipe, what Chucky does, he turns the temperature up through the Caslin thermostat, and the pipes start getting really hot. I'm like, that is so that is so weird, but I just loved it. I loved it. They're like, we need to use the thermostat to kill somebody at some point in this movie.
Yeah.
Because we need to relate it to the Nest thermostat.
Yeah, because fuck Nest. We're giving people way too much control over the temperature of their house.
It was a real Rube Goldberg move to kill this guy with that. But I thought, I don't know, I was just eating it up. Like, I think a lot of people wouldn't like that because it's super hokey. But I was just like, I loved it. I loved that.
I thought it was fun.
Yeah. So this guy dies, and now Chucky's reactivated, and he actually ends up going to one of his friends as another buddy doll.
Yeah.
But Andy starts having a meltdown, realizing that this isn't just a new buddy doll that his friend has. It's actually the Chucky doll that he had.
Yeah.
They start doubting him. They start thinking that maybe he killed somebody. But then I think at some point, actually it was around this time where the mom gets into the Uber. The Caslin Uber.
Yeah.
I loved this. I thought this was so great. It's a self-driving car. Again, like stuff that we're already starting to see. Caslin does you can call it, you could say, hey buddy, get me a ride to so-and-so, bowling alley or whatever. And it was like, okay, your car is en route. It's en route in 5 minutes.
It seems irresponsible to put into a toy.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's a connected device. Everything can do it. Right. So it's like, I don't know. I thought it was funny. Anyway, she gets into the car. She gets to her place, but Chucky kills her because he overhears her saying that she's going to be best friends with Andy. But right. Chucky has imprinted on Andy already and can't have any other best friends, so he's eliminating all these people. And this mom down the hall, he basically just bounces her around the parking lot like a little bit. And then there was actually what I thought was a really cool jump scare moment in the car.
Yeah.
Where they were playing with the sound. Like the sound was coming from the car where Chucky's talking through the car. And then Chucky, you hear his real voice, like as if he's next to her and he's not there. So it's like they were playing with that.
Yeah. That was neat.
So she's killed. And then what happens?
That's when Detective Mike goes and investigates. That's when Chucky
starts taunting Andy.
more. And that's when Albert Plaza starts kind of like, doubting Andy's sanity.
Yeah.
And then at that point, it really goes into the not Kmart. What's it called?
Zen Mart. Yeah, that's right. And so now he's managed to convince the other kids that this is the Chucky doll is bad. Like, look at the video.
Yeah,
and
the video.
They show the video recording from the upload, and they're like, yeah, he's bad. So they go to the opening. The new line of Buddy dolls, Buddy 2.0, are coming out, and it's funny because it's like Asian dolls, and there's like a furry doll. There's like a bear version. There's like, all kinds of dolls. And so they go to this opening, and again, it's this mass hysteria where everyone's just trying to, like a door crasher thing.
Yeah.
And they go there, and the guy,
Mustachio.
Mustachio.
Yeah.
Like Aubrey Plaza's boss is wearing the Buddy, what do you call it? Helmet, like a giant head.
Giant head, yeah.
And just before he's about to come out and like kind of dance for the kids and like all that stuff as Buddy, as a giant Buddy doll, like a mascot, he gets stabbed in the throat.
It was funny.
It was so out of nowhere.
Neck.
He's stabbed in the neck. He just like gets stabbed in the neck. So when the curtains open, he's kind of doing this so he's like stumbling all over the place, and then he lands on his knees in front of this little girl. But the girl's looking at it like, oh, he's gonna like give me something, or he's like, this is my favorite moment in the movie. Because the helmet he takes the helmet off.
Yeah.
And the blood is pooled up in the helmet, and it splurts out all over
Everywhere.
this little girl gets completely drenched in blood, and I was just cackling like a madman. I'm like, I am so happy right now. This is so funny. She's like, there's blood all over her face, and I'm like, that's why you're not the first. You shouldn't be the first person in line at any door crasher. Either you're gonna get blood all over your face or trampled to death.
Parents were just using it as a human shield.
Yeah, it's just like Mace Windu.
Yeah,
just like, get in there, kid. Get in there. Oh shit.
Oh shit. Sorry, kid.
But yeah. So Chucky has murdered. Actually, hasn't killed him. He's still alive. Because the next scene. So Mike has come in and actually he's arresting Andy because he thinks Andy has killed his mom.
Right.
So in the middle of this, all of this is happening. Now, this is the moment where I was like, this movie is gonna like, I gotta ratchet it up. There's buddy dolls everywhere down the. I thought they were all gonna like light up and turn and start attacking everyone, and we basically got the $10 budget version of this scene in my mind.
Thank you.
Like, the scene in my mind was way better than the one that was in the movie. I enjoyed the one in the movie. I get it.
Yeah.
But I was really looking forward to that scene where everyone's like they look over and there's these like line of buddy dolls and they all kind of like light up and turn and look at everyone. I wouldn't even need to see them attack everyone. I just show the Zen Mart from outside and just show blood all over the fucking windows. That's what I'd want to see.
Agreed.
But they went a different route and they did something else that was really fun that I thought was really fun. He controls the drones.
Yeah.
And the drones start attacking people. And again, I was just I loved it. I loved it.
So I agree with you that I was excited to see a bunch of buddy dolls and bears and whatever the fuck start attacking a bunch of people. And then all of a sudden they brought out the drones. I'm like, where the fuck did these come from? Because like, here's the thing is like, no, I get where's the Zen Mart? It's like, everything is a Caslin product. Yeah. Everything. Yeah. They have drones, they have dolls, they have thermostats, they have like, where does it end? I just thought it was kind of like, I was getting annoyed at the fact, like, what else do these fucking guys make? What is their business strategy? What is their mission statement? Who are these people?
They make rugs.
They don't make rugs, and if they did, they would also produce a bunch of other things out of the rugs. Like dolls and thermostats and murdering drones with razor-sharp propellers?
Oh, I
Have you used a drone? They're made of plastic.
I loved it.
Anyways. So yeah, at that point, it was almost like a suspension of disbelief for me, because at that point, I was just like, what the fuck else? Like, at some point, I was expecting like
an angry dryer?
No, I was thinking of sentient shotguns that are Caslin just walking around and shooting people in the head because they're like, yeah, we make these too. They're sentient. It's fine. It helps with hunting. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Oh, it's
like,
fine.
Make a decision. Are you making kids' toys or thermostats? Like, those are you don't see Nest making fucking dolls. That being said, they could.
They 100% could, and Google, it makes a Google Home, but they also provide your email service. Like, these tech companies are all... Samsung. Look at Samsung.
I get that.
Look at Samsung.
I've got a phone. It's right there. It's recording.
You got the Samsung phone, you got the Samsung watch, you got the Samsung refrigerator, TVs, fans. It's basically, actually, Samsung's a great example, or Sony. Is it Sony that does that? Samsung's a great example.
Yes.
Caslin is Samsung.
Sure. But I'm just saying that, like, at the end of the film, don't start introducing more murdering devices for the convenience of it, because you don't have the budget to just have a bunch of murdering dolls attacking people instead of having like 4 drones just flying around and slicing people's throats. So I just thought that was stupid. Like, as soon as I saw the drones, I'm like, fuck you.
I think
there's dolls everywhere. Let him go crazy on the dolls.
Yeah. I agree with you. I would have preferred the dolls. But whenever a drone is something where I'm controlling a drone or seeing a drone, all I can think about is, what if that thing ran right into someone's face?
Yeah.
That's all I'm thinking about when I'm looking at drones. And this movie gave me exactly what I wanted. Drones running into people's faces with grotesque results.
Yeah.
Now, the whole blade thing, here's my take.
Yeah.
The drones have controls on how fast the propellers can spin. Okay, while maintaining, like, so they have safety measures. He overrode all of those, and basically they're just suicide drones.
Fair.
So he's just spinning them really, really fast, so they're like really unsafe. Mustachio, who's just been stabbed in the neck and is lying there watching the carnage take place, gets a drone right in the face and dies. And I'm like, oh my god, this guy has the worst prolonged death.
They doubled down on him, because when he started getting up, I'm like, he's still alive? And then I saw the drone hit him. I'm like, oh,
not anymore.
They don't like him.
Oh, they fucked him.
Basically,
up.
if you commit adultery in this film, you are getting got.
That's
badly.
You're
gonna break something and then get scalped and then stabbed and then face skinned, or you're getting sliced in the throat multiple times by multiple different implements. Don't cheat on your significant other.
That's right. That's this whole movie.
Something will get you.
Do not cheat on your significant other.
In multiple ways. Very creative ways.
Oh, yeah. That's true. That's true.
So anyways, you get this really great scene after all the carnage is starting to break out. They get Andy out of the handcuffs. Mm-hmm. And then you get this really cool moment between all the kids that you've kind of... they've put enough in the film at this point to grow to love the kids.
Yeah,
at
you kinda
least
like the kids.
At the very least, the
two
Fallon and Pug.
Yeah, Fallon and Pug. Yeah.
Omar didn't really do much of anything aside from just kind of being in the background.
He was kind of being a dick at the beginning.
Yeah.
But then he comes around toward the end. He didn't get enough
A
screen
little.
time. I kind
Yeah.
of like appreciate
Agreed.
the arc they tried with him, but they
Yeah.
just didn't have enough time.
Yeah, that exactly. But the other ones, you kind of I enjoyed their characters throughout most of the film.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunately you get this really amazing moment with them and then they're gone. I thought it was going to be kind of like a
that's right.
like an It Part
Yeah.
1 or the very first part of the TV series
Like sort
where
of
they're
like
all banding together.
Yeah,
And
you're
then
right.
You
right.
don't get that.
Yeah.
That was the thing. Like they went away with that so quickly, and I was like, "Fuck!" I thought that we were gonna get something kind of fun.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, I thought one of the kids was going to die.
Oh, I would have thought
was-
that one of them would have died at some point.
I thought they were going to kill one of the kids, which
Omar
I
was
think
getting
would have.
it.
Yeah, it doesn't matter which one of them. In my mind, I was like, make this movie. This movie is straddling the line between like R-rated, horror film, but something like really dangerous and kind of like mean-spirited.
Yes.
So I was hoping they
Maybe.
ratchet that mean-spiritedness up a little bit more by actually offing one of the kids.
True. Yeah.
Because they do that. You know what movie they do that in that is super effective is Attack the Block. Attack the Block has sort of a similar sort of vibe to it, where it's kind of like a fun. It's a fun movie, but it's also dangerous, and the kids are not safe, right?
Right.
So I was hoping they'd do that here, and they didn't. But you also get the scene with the bear version of Buddy.
Chucky. The Buddy, yeah.
The Buddy 2.0 doll, which was basically like 1/100th of what I wanted to see, because it was only one bear version, and I just thought it was really funny they came out with a bear version. But anyway, so he basically starts closing all the emergency doors in this Caslin-driven Zen Mart, and
Yet everybody except for the 4 kids get. Oh, because
No.
they had a thing. Yeah. Never
yeah,
mind. Sorry.
so they had something blocking it.
Yep.
And it was I think it was a shopping cart.
Yeah.
And the mother is kidnapped by Chucky, and Andy leads his friends out, but goes back in to save his mom.
Yes.
And this scene I thought was pretty cool. I thought it was neat. He's got like a what is it? Hedge trimmer? Is that what
Yes.
he's got? He's
Yeah,
got like
yeah.
a hedge trimmer
Yeah.
and like something else. It reminded me a lot of the ending of Gremlins,
Yep.
where it was very similar, sort of like it was a store, and they're going in, and it was like it was almost like a Home Depot, like a hardware store that they were in at Gremlins. But anyway, so he goes in and finds his mom sort of like tied to a noose on a forklift, I think, and like he starts raising this, but he's taunting him by saying that all of these people are getting in the way of us playing together, right? That's why I'm killing all of these people. We can be together. Nobody ever wants you. He starts playing back things that Andy has said, starts playing back things that other characters have said. His mom said, Shane has said, like other people, like in basically like trying to prove to Andy that Buddy, Chucky is your best friend. He's the only best friend. So he ends up saving his mom, and they fall to the ground, and he ends up smashing Chucky to bits.
Yeah.
Right. And but Chucky's still alive at the end. That's where Mark Hamill's voice goes really maniacal at the end. He's got this great theme song. We haven't talked about the scene. That shit was in my head for two or 3 days after. I mean, like even now, I'm singing it in my head right now.
Also, Bear McCreary.
Yeah, Bear McCreary does the score for this movie.
Yeah.
And the score is very good. And
We talked about it in the last episode, or maybe second to last episode, for the Godzilla soundtrack.
Godzilla soundtrack, yeah. And it's a very catchy jingle.
Yeah.
And it's sung by Mark Hamill.
Yes.
So it's very catchy. So, so and essentially he's got this last moment where he leaps at the camera, all CG. I think that's the only shot, probably one of the very few shots that he's all computer generated, and gets shot. And Mike is still alive after being attacked by a drone. So they leave. Everything's cool. I think the kids smash the Chucky doll.
Smashed the piss out of it, which they should have done
out of it.
a long time ago.
And then the Caslin spokesperson releases a statement about, well, we're not liable for what happened with this doll. We assure you that the other versions won't do this. It's basically a very corporate schmoozy sort of message over the Chucky dolls being restocked on the shelves.
Right.
And I think that's the end. That's the end of the movie. There's no post-credit sequence or anything like that.
I didn't stick around.
Yeah. So yeah, that's Child's Play.
2 things about the ending. One.
Yeah.
Did you not think that Aubrey Plaza died when he jumped on the rope? they had this one shot that I thought definitively stated that she fucking got her neck broken. Yeah, I thought you reacted to it too. But like when they both jump on the rope, or at least Andy jumps and grabs the rope.
Yeah.
There's this moment where she lurches up and down, and there's this very hard bass boom that you get in the sound. I was like, did she just break her fucking neck?
Oh.
Then after they cut the rope and she drops, she ends up moving, and I'm just like, really?
Oh.
I
didn't notice.
Maybe on rewatch the film, you can see that again and see if I'm crazy, because that was something that I saw, and I was just like, how the fuck is she still alive?
Yeah.
I forgot what the second part was. I don't think it was that important, though.
Let's talk.
I'll let it go.
Yeah, there's a couple things I want to say about the movie. What do you think the budget of this film was? Do you already know? Don't look.
I didn't look. I've got the wiki up in front of me, so let me close that. If I had to guess, probably 60 million, maybe.
$10 million budget.
Get the fuck out of
made
here.
for $10 million.
Good for them.
And right now, domestically, it has a $26 million domestic gross so far.
Good for them.
The budget of the original, just for comparison, was $9 million. So $9 million at that time with inflation and stuff, that's more than $10 million now.
Much more. Yeah.
They had to do, I think that they had to do more with the dolls and stuff like that.
True.
We've made more. They had more locations in like the first movie felt a little bigger. I don't know how to explain it, because the kid goes on the subway and goes through
more sets. Yeah,
more sets and stuff. But this is a $10 million movie. It's directed by a guy named Lars Klevberg. I don't know. This is a totally new name to me. I've never heard it before. I think we're going to see. It's very sleek. Like, the movie's very cleanly shot.
The new one?
The new one, yeah.
I'd agree with that.
I think that the visuals in the movie, it's a very sleek looking movie. $10 million, it's like made. You know, I'm just happy it's making money, because I know that you didn't like. I really like this movie.
Yeah.
But it's not. I wouldn't say it's something that's like super memorable, but it was so entertaining. I don't know. I was very taken while watching the movie. It felt long. It is 90 minutes, almost exactly, right?
Why did it feel long? Because I thought it felt long.
I had to take a wicked piss during this movie. This movie felt like it dragged on forever. Because I was like, I could go right now, but I'm going to miss the Zen Mart scene. Because when they got everybody in the Zen Mart, I'm like, I really have to go now. But then the Zen Mart thing, I'm like, oh, it's going to happen. Some shit's going to go down. Yeah. I don't want to miss any of this. And, but yeah, right after the movie was done, the credit directed by Lars Klevberg, I'm like, yo, you get my beer.
Fuck you, Lars. I'm going.
Yeah, you get my beer. And I ran to the bathroom after that. But yeah, that's the only reason it felt long to me. It's a very tight movie, I thought. I thought it was pretty tight.
Yeah, it felt long to me because I think that I honestly don't know. I was trying to reflect on it. I thought that maybe they had spent a little bit more time on some characters than they needed to.
Yeah.
Or there was too much of like this, like, should I kill him? Shouldn't I kill him?
Yeah.
That was pretty much the only thing I could really focus on. But while I was watching it, I felt like, shit, how long is this fucking movie?
Yeah.
Like, by the time they got to, they finally got to Zen Mart, I was just like, finally, like, this is the final act.
The climax,
and I don't know. It felt long. That being said, like, I didn't enjoy the movie overall. Mm-hmm. But I didn't hate the movie. It's kind of this weird middle of the road thing.
Yeah.
I'm just a little bit on the other side of the middle of the road, where I get the enjoyable stuff. I had a good time on certain parts of this film. I just feel like, in some regards, they didn't take it far enough. Like, I felt like with the maniacalness of the doll, I feel like they could have gone a little bit farther. And maybe that's where the hope. I'm sure. I was gonna say hopeful, but probably with that type of budget and payoff that they've gotten, inevitable sequel.
I would love to see.
I'd very much like to see a sequel to this film, because I feel like this film didn't take it as far as I think it could have gone, and I'd like to see where it goes in the next film.
Yeah, that's right.
So that's kind of my thought on it.
I doubled down on movies on Friday. I saw this, and then I saw another one, and I saw Spider-Man. I remember more of this movie.
If you spoil anything with that, I'm going to slap you like a Vietnamese factory boss.
I wasn't. I could use a good slap, though.
Just do something wrong, and I'll slap the shit out of you. I'll slap anybody.
Anybody who needs
Please
one.
go to welcometoyourdoom.com if you would like to get slapped. I'll come to your house and slap you.
Fill out the questionnaire, and Justin will show up at your house.
The questionnaire is one question. Want to get slapped?
Yeah, I saw Spider-Man, and I remember more about this movie than I remember about Spider-Man.
Okay.
Let's put it that way. But yeah, I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I think more people should check it out.
It's worth seeing. I'm not going to say that it's not worth seeing.
And I think there are a lot of fans of the original. So you're getting into the fandom of the original that don't like this movie. I read some reviews from like Bloody Disgusting. I read their review, and I just don't agree with any of them. Like a lot of them are I gave it like a 5 or a 6 out of 10 or something, and they're like, the original had this, and I'm like, that's not really a reason for me to dislike the movie.
I will say I don't think that this film is as good as the original, but I don't think that not being a fan of this in comparison to the original is a reason to not see this film.
Right.
I think it's worth seeing.
I think it exists on its own.
Yes.
It just has
enough
that's different about it. It's unique. It's a unique.
And in a remake, that's what I want.
Yeah.
I don't want to see the Psycho remake. I want to see like the RoboCop
That's
remake.
right,
I want to see the Child's Play remake.
Yeah.
Take a different take on the character.
Yeah.
Maybe it hits, maybe it doesn't.
Yeah.
Like RoboCop, for the most part, didn't seem to hit for the general audience.
No,
I fucking loved it.
I
thought
actually
it was
quite
fun.
liked it. Yeah.
It was it was a change of pace.
Well, you also like the Rob Zombie Halloween.
I did.
I did. It was another
yeah.
example of a movie that does things way like much differently,
Yes.
and just simply for that reason, it's already interesting.
Yeah, I don't need to see the same thing again. That's my
Yeah.
problem with the Disney remakes. Is I figure for the most part, it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's why like Aladdin, go fuck yourself. I'm good. I'll go watch the Robin Williams one.
I watched Aladdin.
That's what I'm getting at.
It was okay. I don't, actually, the only Disney. This is a weird tangent. We could probably end the show before this, but like a weird tangent.
I'm keeping this in.
Okay. The one Disney remake that I actually liked was Cinderella, and I think that was like the first one that came out. Kenneth Branagh directed that movie. I was like, oh, this is good.
Yeah.
And then the one that just crushed it for me was Beauty and the Beast. I saw that because I do like that movie because again that movie has some like
The original
horror.
or the remake?
No, the original, the animated movie, the Disney animated movie, because it had some of that stuff I watched. It was the closest thing to horror I could watch when I was a kid. Like kind of had this movie it wasn't good. Like I just didn't like it. It actually did it a disservice in my opinion. And then we saw Aladdin, and Aladdin, it was okay.
Yeah.
It was just kind of like I didn't feel like there was a reason for this movie to exist.
We just saw the trailer of Mulan. The teaser literally just came out. It doesn't feel like a remake or anything.
That's what I was just about to say.
Yeah.
I watched the trailer for Mulan. I'm like, out of all, like just before the show, out of all those remakes that we've had, those Disney remakes, that looks like, if you didn't call it Mulan, I wouldn't even know what the hell I was watching.
Exactly.
And I was like, that looks good, because
Yeah.
I feel like a live action version of Mulan would add something
Yeah.
that you couldn't do in animation. There's a grittiness to that movie. There's a realness to that.
Yeah.
Whereas like you've taken Mulan, the animated movie, and you're changing it into like a basically an epic Chinese like martial arts film.
Yeah.
Right? Like, sorry, what am I blanking on the names? Like, there's like Crouching Tiger and Hero and like all of these great,
The Great Wall.
Look, The Great Wall is not a good movie, but it's one of the few films
That you own on 4K. Okay, continue on Mulan.
It's one of the few films that has a native 4K transfer. Okay, it's not a good. It is directed by Zhang Yimou. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing his name right, but his movies are amazing. Not that one. Okay, he's got another movie coming out, and I can't remember the name of it. It looks amazing. He's got he's an incredible eye for action. That movie is probably not a shining moment in his career, but yes. So the movie it's called Shadow, that's coming out.
Gotcha.
But anyway, like that, like his films, you're making something that's different and unique, and I'll watch that. Like Mulan. That remake, who's it directed by? Like, I don't even know.
Mulan, I didn't even look it up. One thing I just saw, actually, to go back to Child's Play while you're looking that up, I didn't know this. On Robot Chicken, Hamill also voiced Chucky.
Oh, no way.
Like the original Chucky.
That's funny.
I would have thought they would have given Brad Dourif a call, because, I mean, it's not like he's a constantly working actor. I mean, he's doing stuff.
He's doing stuff,
Yeah,
yeah.
but I feel like he could lend his voice.
But I think he's doing so Don Mancini is the guy who created and, wrote a lot of the Chucky movies and directed a lot of them.
That's the most Italian name I've ever heard.
Yeah. I think his name, I'm pretty sure it's Don Mancini. He's doing a Child's Play TV series. And
Yes,
I think
that's true.
Brad Dourif might lend his voice to that.
Yeah.
So,
that'd be cool.
So the cast of Mulan. Sorry, changing gears just to finish that thought. Like, there's a name I don't recognize playing the title character, but Donnie Yen, and Jet Li are both in this movie. So
of course,
it's directed by someone named Nikki Caro, and I don't know
with their
what
work.
she's done before. Whale Rider, McFarland USA, the one with Kevin Costner, Zookeeper's Wife.
What?
This seems like a strange choice, but I'm sure, like from what I saw in that trailer, it looked pretty good.
Style from a style perspective, it looked good. Yeah. I was. It's coming out in 2020.
Oh, that is a long ways away.
Not far.
But yeah. Anyway, so I'm not even sure how we got remakes, right?
Yeah.
So how we got
pretty
onto
much.
that? Yeah. So I think that this movie has a reason to exist.
Yes,
I will. They took a very unique angle on it, and I think they delivered a partially insightful but very entertaining film.
Nah.
I think.
Yeah. The insightfulness happened a quarter of the way through. Other than that, it was just a dumb doll that was learning and not parented very well. And the kid was just didn't smash it early enough.
That's true.
There should have been more smashing.
All right. Well, I think we can wrap it up there.
I think so.
All right.
What are the...
Bye.
Bye. No, thanks for listening. Thanks for watching if you're watching us on YouTube. Like and subscribe.
Yep.
Wherever you get your podcasts on YouTube, like and comment. Comment on podcast, comment and just fucking comment. Say something.
Say something.
Say hi.
Say something.
Say something.
All right.
All right, that's
I'm
it.
getting out of here. See you guys.
Done. Donnie Yen's playing Commander Tongue. What?
Donnie Yen?
Donnie Yen. I just looked up the cast. Donnie Yen.
Who's Jet Li playing?
He's playing the Emperor.
He's the Emperor. Oh.
It doesn't sound like the Emperor.
Who's playing the Hun? Oh, that guy was vicious in that movie. I really liked.
There's no Hun.
Maybe they're not fighting the Huns.
I think the Hun's a group.
Who? I like the lead Hun. Like not. Were you looking?
I was looking for a Hun.
No.
I don't know who the worst. Who's the worst Hun of the Huns?
The leader of the Attila.
Attila.
I don't know.
I don't think there's a Attila.
Is there a Hunnish name in that list?
Dude, they're all Hunnish names for me, man. I'm an Italian Canadian. I don't know shit about Hun names.
Hang on, wait. Let me see. Mulan. What was the name? It wasn't Attila. I'm pretty sure it was just.
No.
It was like another name, maybe another historical Hun leader.
1998 film.
The Huns. Shan Yu. Hun chieftain. Is Shan Yu in that list?
Let's see. He probably is. Oh,
Jesus Christ, what are you doing over there, man?
no, I went back, I think. There we go.
Shan.
There's no Shans.
Oh, interesting.
At least in here.
Well, maybe they used a different Hun.
There's Shane Mulholland. He's the layout department manager of Weta Digital. There's Shannon Stride, the design assistant. There's Shane Mulholland, the layout department. I'm going to keep looping on the scene. I also... Hun. Matthew Hunkin is the illustrator. Francesca Hunt. Francesca, probably.
Yeah.
Not Francesca. Is the first assistant accountant in the UK. Matthew Hunkin is the illustrator.
Hunkin.
Francesca Hunt is the first assistant in the UK.
All right.
I drank a lot of wine.